मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदामयं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयं मुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंगायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरं। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलं स्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां हयग्रीवम् उपास्महे। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 4, text number 16. कर्मण्यानि हस्य भवो भवस्यते दुर्गाश्रयो तरिभयात् पलायनम् कलात्मनो यत् प्रमादयुत् उत्श्रमा स्वात्मन् रते किद्यति दीर्घितम् इह कर्माणि अनिहस्य भावो भावस्यते दुर्गाश्रयो थारिभयात् पलायनम् कलात्मनो यत् प्रमादवुत युतश्रमा स्वात्मान रते किद्यति dirvidham iha. Synonyms: karmani, activities; ani hasya, of one who has no desire; bhavaha, birth; abhavasya, of one who is never born; te, your; durga ashraya, taking shelter of the fort; atha, thereafter; aribhayat, out of fear of the enemies; palayanam, flee; kala atmanaha, of he who is the controller of eternal time; yat, that; pramada ayuta, in the association of women; ashrama, household life; swatman, in your own self; ratehe, one who enjoys; kidyati, is disturbed; dihi, intelligence; vidham, of the learned; iha, in this world. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. My Lord, even the learned sages become disturbed in their intelligence when they see that your greatness engages in fruitive work, although you are free from all desires; that you take birth, although you are unborn; that you flee out of fear of the enemy and take shelter in a fort, although you are the controller of invincible time; and that you enjoy householder life surrounded by many women, although you can enjoy in yourself. Purport: pure devotees of the Lord are not very much concerned with the philosophical speculation in regard to the transcendental knowledge of the Lord, nor is it possible to acquire complete knowledge of the Lord. whatever little knowledge they have about the Lord is sufficient for them, because devotees are simply satisfied in hearing and chanting about the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. This gives them all transcendental bliss. But some of the pastimes of the Lord appear contradictory even to such pure devotees. And thus, Uddhava asked the Lord about some of the contradictory incidents in his pastimes. The Lord is described as having nothing to do personally, and it is actually so, because even in the creation and sustenance of the material world, the Lord has nothing to do. It seems contradictory then to hear that the Lord personally lifts the Govardhan Hall for the protection of his unalloyed devotees. The Lord is the Supreme Brahman, the absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, appearing like a man, but Uddhava had doubts whether he could have so many transcendental activities. There is no difference between the personality of Godhead and the impersonal Brahman. However, then can the Lord have so many things to do, whereas impersonal Brahman is stated to have nothing to do either materially or spiritually? If the Lord is ever unborn, how then is he born as a son of Vasudeva and Devaki? He is fearful even to Kala, the supreme fear. And yet the Lord is afraid of fighting Jarasandha and takes shelter in a fort. How can one who is full in himself is take pleasure in the association of many women? How can he take wives and, just like a householder, take pleasure in the association of the family members, children, relatives, and parents? All these apparently contradictory happenings bewilder even the great learned scholars, who thus bewildered cannot understand whether inactivity as a fact or whether his activities are only imitations. The solution is that the Lord has nothing to do with anything mundane. All his activities are transcendental. This cannot be understood by the mundane speculators. For the mundane speculators, there is certainly a kind of bewilderment, but for the transcendental devotees, there is nothing astonishing in this. The Brahman conception of the absolute truth is certainly the negation of all mundane activities. But the Parabrahman conception is full with transcendental activities. One who knows the distinction between the conception of the Brahman and the conception of the Supreme Brahman is certainly the real transcendental transcendentalist. There is no bewilderment for such transcendentalists. The Lord himself also declares in Bhagavad Gita 10.2, even the great sages and demigods can know hardly anything about my activities and transcendental potencies. The right explanation of the Lord's activities given by the grandfather Bhishmadev as follows. Nahi asya karichid rajan puman veda vidisitam yad vijinnasya yukta muhyanti kavayopihi. Okay. Thank you for giving this opportunity for me to read Bhagavatam today. Today is an Ekadashi. Happy Ekadashi to all of you. Somehow, by the Lord's mercy, I am here to read Bhagavatam to purify myself and to please Guru and Krishna. So please bless and pray for me. That way I can speak something on this transcendental subject matter, which I am totally unqualified. But by the blessings of Guru, anything can happen. That's why it's called Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Krupa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam. Transcendental literature is there time immemorial, but we human beings especially look at so many other literature, so-called literatures, which is mundane. And what happens is, we are looking at everything in mundane platform. And when we read transcendental literatures, we think that Krishna's pastimes is also mundane. Why is he acting mundane? That's the whole explanation of this verse. Is that right? Why? Because suppose I am mundane. I am following mundane. I am reading mundane. I am seeing mundane. And I am following and teaching everyone, my children, my family. Because at the end of the day, what we know, what my father taught, what my grandfather taught to my dad, everything was mundane. Right? That's what's going on in this material world. So when there are two things. One, we will see in a material way, hey, how can this be possible? Prabhu, this tree fetches a beautiful flower, but this flower is only, I've seen one tree can fetch only one flower in a year, one plant or something like that. I don't know, that I see that somewhere in Himalayas. Then, plant means plant, trees mean tree. Oh, why is it just giving me one? What are you talking about? Normally, when trees will give everything what you want. So, even the natural, whatever is there available, there also we see whatever you say is wrong. Even the botanists, botanical garden, if you see, there are a lot of researchers, they do a lot of research. And they'll say, this is how it is, this is how it is, this is that. Just that only discover, they don't do anything. Just go, oh, this is how it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be. They don't know what's supposed to be. But they say, oh, this is how it is. It's a creation of Krishna. Or the very nice natural creation, they'll say. Right? But that natural creation itself is so beautiful. We don't understand that nature of how it is being done. Look at it, spring. Spring is so green everywhere. Why it is green? It is green. It is spring. That's what it is. Spring is. Why it cannot be, why is the tree, why that is not falling, why the leaves are falling in the fall? Yeah, it's a fall season. It has its own phenomena. The mundane thing we don't understand sometimes. So coming to the literature, it's very transcendental. Even mundane subjects also we don't understand. They think about, I have my, people talking about the students, right? Especially biochemistry, organic chemistry. Oh my God, it's so very tough. The medical students, they'll say, it's so tough. It's very, very difficult. I don't know what to do. This is all just by heart. I have no idea what is it's going to help. Even the very complicated mundane subjects are very, very complicated. And then we think the same way the transcendental literatures. Right? So what happens, the transcendental literatures, sometimes we may not understand first of all, but it says in this purport of Srila Prabhupada that even pure devotees, they're not bothered about anything, why it happens, why not happens. They're just chanting and hearing. Our Vaisheshika Prabhu says, you take rice, you take dal. If you eat up separately dal, okay, it's tasty. But if you also just eat, oh, it's a blend. If you put together rice and dal together and eat some 42 proteins and very nutritious and very tasty. Like that, what in Sankirtan movement, chanting Hare Krishna, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, both together makes us dance. That's what Sankirtan is. That's what, he was telling like that a few days ago. So what makes us dance is a flavor of what you read and what you eat that way. Correct? So the transcendental literature has some different flavor. If you really imbibe engrossed in Krishna Katha. Okay, so that's what pure devotee, they don't care. What is this? So they don't care about anything other than hearing and chanting and, and they discuss Krishna Katha each other with anybody, especially when their devotees come together, they're always very, very in ecstasy, talking about Krishna, nothing else. But sometimes they also feel, why is Krishna this way? It's contradictory. Wow. Why is it like, why, how can Krishna do this? Krishna is everything, right? Krishna has everything. He is, why he is acting like a human being? You said it appears like 5,000 years ago. 5,000 years ago he appeared. And he is acting like an ordinary human being. Why is this? He is out of fear. Think about, he is giving a story. Prabhupada is giving a story of Jarasandha. One fine day, they were all in Mathura, sleeping. In the morning, there is already a fort, very nice fort on the ocean, which is Dwaraka. The ocean was converted into a city, complete city, with a fort in it. And why Krishna has to be in fear? No, Krishna is not in fear. He wants to protect his devotees, protect his associates. In that way, because Dharasandha came in, he saw a trouble, it's everyday trouble. Forget it. Krishna can take care of anything. But for his protection of the devotees, he did that fort. But one may understand, oh, Krishna is in fear. Krishna is not in fear. Why he has to be in fear? Right? So that's why one is Jarasandha. Another one is, oh, look at this Krishna. He has 16,108 wives. And what kind of God is this? All gods are like this. I have only one. See, Ekapratni Vratasta. See, Ramachandra, there's only one. But Krishna, 16,108. Why is this? It's contradictory, right? Krishna can, if Krishna is, that is the one, nowadays there is a rule. You should not have more than two wives. One wife, not two wives, I'm sorry. One wife. And then I have seen one news that one had so many wives and 100 children. The family was totally husband and several wives and children, almost 100 plus in their family. That single-headed. So it's like Krishna can also 16,100. What is this? Looking at, suppose me, I'm looking at that person who has so many wives and so many children. Right? What is this guy doing? We even criticize. But thinking about God, even how can God have all this? 16, so many wives. But that was the reason. We know. Narakasura kidnapped all of the queens, and Krishna protected them from all these girls or all the women from Narakasura, and then said, all the queens said, you see, all the princes, they said, we were kidnapped by this demon, and who is going to marry? And now we are with this demon. Who is going to marry us? So the only person is you. You can protect us. Maybe we should all marry you. That was and then Krishna, to safeguard them, he protected them, and is not for his own mundane enjoyment, nothing like that. So Krishna, in every aspect on what he did, there is a reason behind it. But here there is and also in the purport it says about the fear. I was thinking about, fear. One fear is Jarasandha. So he protected all the devotees. But another, when he was a little Krishna, he was also in fear with Mother Yashoda. Is that real fear? Why is he acting like that? We have seen that Namameshwaram song, amazing. Every year in the Kartik we sing, and all this reddish bimba fruit, like all these eyes and blackish and whatnot. So it's so, and Krishna is totally in fear of Mother Yashoda. Why he has to be in fear? But he's showing that love of her mother, for his mother, basically the love for her child and love for mother whatever, we see that exchange of that love and is actually acting like a real human being, little child. So what do we need to understand is, even though we as a human being, we are doing all these mundane activities, Krishna is also coming and doing all this. If you look at it, the Krishna book, he wakes up early in the morning, he does his daily duties, he does everything. Sometimes somebody has to teach us, because we don't know. First of all, we are born out of ignorance. And Krishna appears or sends his representatives to Om Ajnana Thimirandasya Gnana Anjana Shalakshya, give some knowledge and light for all of us on how to and what to. If I look at how Srila Prabhupada came to West, and he even A to Z, he told everything. He taught everything. And now you see, ISKCON has grown, and all the Westerners and Russians and Chinese, and you understand, and can you imagine how it was completely taught by Srila Prabhupada initially, and now that's spreading that culture. Yesterday, I saw the Sunday Feast program. We served everything on the mat, sitting downstairs. That's the Vedic culture. So this culture, nowadays, it's advancement and advancement and advancement. Our children don't even know this, the old tradition and cultures. And what will happen? They may not even follow. Nothing. Slowly it goes away, fades away. So it's all because of the advancement and whatnot, media. Hey, what are you talking? You're still maybe back in 1,000 years old, man. What are you doing? But Krishna is bringing us that culture back, and he himself descends the way he descended 5,000 years ago, and he showed so many things. Lord Ramachandra descended, and he showed how to deal, how to act. Correct? So this is what we need to learn from Krishna, and it is nothing to do with Krishna. He is not even thinking about, and people thinking that it is mundane. Mundane, it's not nothing mundane. Anything Krishna does is transcendental. If it looks like mundane, but that means he's teaching us how to and what to. Right? That's all we need to understand. That's all I need to understand from this verse. That's what I'm thinking. And let's read what Bhagavad Gita says, 10.2. 1 second. Krishna, Prabhupada has referred that 10.2, and just open up a little bit and see what it is. Prabhupada says, neither the hosts of demigods nor the great sages know my origin or opulences. For in every respect, I am the source of demigods and sages. We as an ordinary human being, we may not understand. But how about the higher living beings like demigods and sages? It is for them also, they cannot understand. Because why is it so? Krishna is what is the right word to say? We cannot understand anything about Krishna. It is inconceivable. We may sometimes read Srimad Bhagavatam also. We may not understand. Why is this? Why this? No, we bring a logic into picture also sometimes. We cannot, we as limited with the limited capacity of our brains, we cannot understand the unlimited, because Krishna is unlimited. And it says in this purport, as stated in the Brahma Samhita, Lord Krishna is the supreme Lord. No one is greater than him. He is the cause of all causes. Here it is also stated, the Lord personally, that he is the cause of all the demigods and sages. Even the demigods and sages, great sages, cannot understand Krishna. And then what are we to understand anyway? They can understand neither his name or his personality. So what is the question of the so-called scholars of this tiny planet? No one can understand why the supreme God comes to earth as an ordinary human being and executes such a wonderful, uncommon activities. One should know then that scholarship is not the qualification necessary to understand Krishna. Even the demigods and the great sages have tried to understand Krishna by their mental speculation, and they have failed to do so. And so it's this, they cannot speculate to the limits of their imperfect senses and can reach the opposite conclusion of impersonalism. Let me read, skip a few things, but it says, the Lord indirectly says that if anyone wants to know about know the absolute truth, here I am present as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I am the Supreme. One should know this. Although one cannot understand the inconceivable Lord who is personally present, is nonetheless exists. We can actually understand Krishna, who is eternal, full of bliss and knowledge, simply by studying words in Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. I'll just want to narrate one thing. I'm meditating on this. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chittate ko Aikya, right? Sometimes these Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita coming from the words, from the mouth, lotus mouth of our spiritual master and our previous Acharya, like Srila Prabhupada, our Param Guru. They're all pure devotees of the Lord. When we hear from them, it's actually Guru Mukha Padma Vakya. What happens? Our heart will understand, because it's it's inconceivable, we cannot understand, but Guru will make us understand. Sometimes we even doubt what Guru says. I'll give one incident. Our personal secretary of Jayapatak Maharaj, Mahavaraha Prabhu, his personal secretary for A to Z. When Maharaj wants to go even talk to someone, Mahavaraha Prabhu, he will say, Prabhu, Maharaj, this is what need. So Maharaj, even Mahavaraha says, I think we should stop the class, Maharaj will stop the class. Because he is so much in alignment with Guru Maharaj, his Guru Maharaj, and then the way he does is amazing. For that person, he has a doubt. I'm telling you what happened. So they installed one of the deities in one of the temples in India, and he went, just installed deities, and then just previous that morning, he read a quote in a Facebook. He opened up the laptop, looked at the Facebook, and then he saw some 1990s. His Holiness Jayapatak Maharaj had given some description saying, prayers are very important. I don't know exact quote, but I'll just at least a gist of it. Prayers are very important. Prayers are nothing but, what are prayers? Prayers means it's communication between us, between me and the Lord. Whatever you communicate, Krishna reciprocates. That's a prayer. It's a communication. That's what something like that the quote was. Then Mahavaraha Prabhu came to the temple. He saw the newly installed deities, and then he thought, and there were so many people in the line giving Tulasi and Prasadam. And then he saw, okay, if you are really, this is my prayer. So they said it is communication between me and you, Krishna. I am praying you for, he had some prayer. And then he thought, if you acknowledge my prayer, maybe I should get something from you. That was his mind. Then he says, intelligence kicked in. Oh, why am I doubting? So I should not do that. And he saw Pujari was giving the Tulasi to everyone, and there was a big line. Then he thought, oh my God, what am I talking about? And then he said, forget it. And he did not take Tulasi because there's a big line. And then he went back to the room. After 1 hour, somebody knocked at the door. He opened the door and he saw the same Pujari who was distributing from the altar and the Tulasi and whatnot. And he said, Prabhu, this is Tulasi from Charana, lotus feet of Krishna. Please take this. He was completely astonished. So why am I telling this is, even though the words in Srimad Bhagavatam, the words, sentences in Bhagavad Gita, we may not understand. And the Guru also quotes from his realizations on what exactly that means. And when he says something, we may not understand with our mundane knowledge, and we speculate also. And we'll put logic in it also. But now you see, Guru Mukha Padma Vakya, when something comes from the lotus mouth of the spiritual master, this definitely happens. So I think I'll stop here. This is my small, tiny realizations. And I haven't, honestly, I did not even read or study, did not even prepare. It was just on the spot. Somehow Krishna inspired me to say something. So thank you very much. And we'll Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. If anybody has comments, criticize or whatever, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhuji, so wonderful. Today's class was completely from your heart, and particularly the last, story that you gave, the Leela, it is so wonderful. Like the prayers or communication with the Lord, and truly enough, the Lord hears that and sends the pujari, with the Tulsi. So nice, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj. Very nice, Prabhu. It was, without preparation also, you you gave such a fantastic class. Thank you so much.
From what?
Especially how the Guru Maharaj makes it understandable to us, to understand the meaning of things, the Lord's pastimes, and every other transcendental.
We have seen this. It was so complicated. Say, suppose we read something, it's very complicated. When Rompad Maharaj comes and he explains that, it's so, oh, that's all?
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Hare Krishna, Lakshmikant Prabhu, maybe we can stop here. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Vansha Kalpatrubhyascha, Kripa Sindhuvesha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavyo Namo Namah, Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much. I'm driving, Prabhu. I'll stop it once I go back home. Okay, I'll stop the streaming. It'll be okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I did not transfer the host privileges. I'll be there in a minute.
No problem.
You can. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.